Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Life Story. As always, I'm your host, Tyler Honig. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me. What Life Story is it's really my excuse to get to hang out with a lot of my friends and mentors, find out about the highs and lows of their lives, and what led them into the people that they are today. If you're returning to my show, thank you so much for your continued support. I think you're really going to enjoy today's episode, where I have a social media influencer that I've been following for a few years. I like his content a lot. Him and I have been talking back and forth over Instagram Messenger, and we ended up deciding that it was going to work for him to come on the show. So today I have Carson Teagarden, who is a Christian fitness coach and content creator who's passionate about helping people become stronger in every area of life. He believes true strength isn't just physical, it's built through discipline, faith, integrity, and consistency. His mission is to help others improve their body while growing in their relationship with God and developing the mindset to live with purpose. Through his coaching and content, he strives to encourage people to pursue excellence, embrace challenges, and build habits that last. His core values are faith, honesty, hard work, service, and continual growth. Whether he's coaching clients, creating content, or studying scripture, his goal is to glorify God and help others become the person he created them to be. And with that, here is the life story of Carson Teagarden.
Tell us your story, your life story. Tell us, we wanna know. Tell us your journey and what you've learned. Tell us how you wanna grow. So many people with stories to share. Will we listen to learn and to care? Tell us your story, your life story.
Hey Carson, how's it going today?
It's going well. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. For my listeners, Carson is a social media influencer that a few of my friends had pointed me to a couple of years ago, and I really just enjoyed seeing your fitness growth, how much you love to help other people, spreading some amazing messages. So I'm really grateful to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, like all of my episodes, let's go back in time a little bit to young Carson. What was life like growing up for you as a kid? What was your family life like? What were your interest areas?
Yeah, so I did, great family growing up. I was a very energetic, outgoing kid, did a lot of sports. Growing up, I wrestled, I did baseball, basketball, track, golf. So just a bunch of sports, always moving and active, and did a lot of also like church events and camps and things like that. So just yeah, a really nice, enjoyable, we'll say kind of childhood in that beginning. And then I also was really into making videos and content, and that was a little bit towards my middle school days and elementary, and then also obviously into the high school days, working out and being more into business and that type of stuff as well.
Sure. So it sounds like athleticism kind of always came very naturally to you.
Yeah, I definitely say that. I think that's an interesting thought because I was always a pretty good athlete, but I was also the one who was always putting in the work too. So, yes, I feel like a lot of things would, I was always very active, running quick, fast, but I always was the one staying late and working hard and doing my technique. And so I think the mix of being pretty athletic and having a father who's athletic, but also putting in that discipline and working every single day combined helped me to be a pretty good athlete. Not that I was anything that was crazy stellar, but I did, do really well in basketball and got a lot of first place things in middle school track and that type of thing. So definitely saw some of that work pay off.
Yeah, well, definitely when you work hard, play hard, you that shows when you're on the field, when you're on the court. So that's
100%.
awesome to hear that like even at a young age you're already starting to build that mindset of what do I have to do if I want to be successful.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that has started. I mean, from my parents and my dad, my faith, from the beginning, always working hard and knowing when I put in the hard work, something would pay off in that. And that helped me to excel in everything that I did, has definitely led me to where I am today, 100%.
That's awesome. And then did you have siblings growing up that you hung out with too? Are you an only child?
Yeah, I do have one sister, and we are 2 years apart.
Okay, nice. Were you two pretty close as kids, or is it kind of that same old
I
brother
think it's
sister
just
like needed to
brother
grow
sister.
into
Yeah,
it?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were there for each other, but it's still that brother sister. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been doing this show enough times. I know that brother sister dynamic. I'm actually an only child, so I only got to see
Yeah.
that from a lot of my friends, but it's been a neat thing to do this show and kind of hear about how people's relationships have grown with family
Yeah.
friends throughout
Yeah.
their whole lives.
Very cool.
How was school for you? Did you enjoy like the school system? Did academics come as easily as athletics did to you?
So yeah, I think academics did all right. I mean, I didn't like school. I didn't really think it was something. Just I'm sitting there and just in a place with a bunch of people that I don't
Yeah.
really know or just didn't really connect with as much. So I didn't really like school. I feel like I did well with it. I would study here and there, but didn't have to put too much. So did basically I did all A's until high school, and then once I was focused on my fitness and business, I was like, it doesn't matter as much. So I had some B's and stuff throughout that, but other than that, I was pretty much just doing my own thing, and so I really didn't love it, but I got through it and did what I needed to, and did fine there.
Yeah, and I'm an educator, but I always believe people learn in so many different ways. People have the fine arts, they have athletics, they have all sorts of different ways that showcase how
Right.
you learn, and that's what you have to pick. And it sounds like you really kind of figured out what you had to do for yourself to be successful.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I saw for
Oh,
sure.
and then where did you grow up as a kid?
I was in Pennsylvania, small little town,
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
cool.
Still currently here, but I think there's definitely a lot of. I've been doing a lot of traveling the last 2, 3 years with meeting clients, doing business, and so I would like to definitely soon kind of get out. But it's been nice because I can do a lot of work from home, and I can also travel when need be. So haven't like actually moved or anything because of those reasons.
Yeah, no, definitely. What has been some of your favorite things about where you've lived? Like, is your community? Are there activities you do? Like, what keeps you there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing would just be, we want to say financially. It's like, hey, if I'm staying at home, I can save as much money, whatever. But what I don't like is the winters. What I do like is like right now the summer. It's a small little town. I can walk any time of the day, night, run, whatever. There's no one bothering me. It's there's nothing like crazy health wise, but my gym is less than a mile away. So I
Yeah.
wake up, check in with my clients, walk or run to the gym or drive real quick, and so it's just nice and easy, and it's not like I'm in the city and so much going on. It's very calm, and I enjoy it.
Exactly. And especially since you said you've been traveling so much, I'm sure it's nice to come back to a home base that is
Yeah,
not as crazy.
that's it. So in the cold weather, I was trying to get out and go more warm weather, and then at home, I can kind of be more chill and get things done and focus. So it's been a nice kind of versatile thing there.
That's awesome. So let's kind of move into, you already alluded to it in high school. That's when your fitness journey really started to take form. How did that initially start for you? Did you pick a particular sport or a particular thing?
Yeah, so basically, I started right into that end of eighth grade into ninth grade. I started at freshman. There was like, hey, basketball. I really loved it. I was super good at it. I wanted to put on some muscle and strength for basketball, so I didn't really know what to do. I was like, oh, let me just train with some guys and go to the gym. And my coach was like, yeah, you need to do like summer workouts. So that summer of eighth grade, started doing a little workout. I enjoyed it, didn't really like love it, but then I started like looking at some videos of like, I always wanted that six pack. I want to have some strength. So I kind of do some stuff on my own. But through that, I started to find calisthenics workouts and doing the human flags, doing handstands, and people had great physiques. And I'm like, that's what I think is so cool. Like I remember doing handstands when I was younger, but I didn't know actually how to do it.
Sure.
So that eighth grade, ninth grade summer slash school, I remember coming into ninth grade. I had been working out that whole summer. I got a nice six pack. I'd really transformed my body, and I posted my first. It was a 3 month transformation, and I'd done YouTube in the past for 3, 4 years, and I had kind of stopped because people would make fun of me and stuff a lot. I just made like little random videos, but I was like, my mom and parents are like, you've made YouTube videos, you should do a transformation video. So I had this pretty good 3 month transformation. It was like my 14 to 15-year-old transformation, and I posted it right before going to school, and it had I call it blew up. It
Sure.
got like it got like 1,500 views, but for me, before that, I was getting like 100 views maybe. So I was
Yeah.
like, no way! Like my fitness, people are loving it. This video is doing well,
And
and I
especially as a
started.
freshman in high school, I mean, that's crazy to get that kind of views the first time
Yeah,
around.
so like in today and today it's like, oh, that's nothing,
Yeah.
but there is what kind of started that whole fitness thing there. And so I remember walking in, I felt like, man, like I had this great physique in high school, and I got the subscribers going. Like this is something I've always wanted to do. It's actually starting to work a little bit. So that's when I really started to ninth, 10th. That was the COVID year. COVID was my ninth grade year, so that
Sure.
took all the sports away, and I just went all workout, calisthenics, home workouts. The gym were closed, so I just made videos on that, and I fell in love with doing handstands and push-ups and pull-ups. And since COVID happened, I was just at home doing exactly what I love to do for that whole school year while making the videos, and that didn't take off like crazy, but we were definitely seeing some small growth. And then
Yeah.
from ninth grade all the way till that 11th grade senior year, that's when it started really taking off. But I just stayed consistent. I ended up stopping all sports except for track, and just focused on doing that. And so that's kind of how that high school, why I was like so focused on the business, working out, training clients,
Yeah.
that type of thing, start my business instead of like being in school for hours. Like I could be, working on that. So that's a
Definitely.
little
I'm
background.
curious why of all the sports did you keep track?
So I really enjoyed basketball, but it's extremely time consuming, and I had a lot of problems with some of the coaching with that, especially with my faith. Like, I don't do like Sunday stuff because I always say church, and he
Of
wanted us to
course.
be there. So I was like, you know what? I take it so much time. I could be working out and making videos. Where track was more of a, I do cardio anyways. It's not as a big time commitment. It's fun. The coaches, my dad coached. My two best friends were
Oh,
their dads for
yeah.
coaches. So it's just a lot better environment that I could kind of be more flexible to.
It almost kind of gave you a place that you could have community.
Yeah, it gave me that community. We worked out at track. We ran at track. It was already what I was doing. So I remember doing handstands and working out and
Yeah.
doing what I like to do. Because you do a lot of strength training to get faster. So it was just basically it didn't really take away from what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And you can answer this for the original videos you made in middle school or when you started your fitness stuff your freshman year. But what did your parents kind of think of that? Did they help try to support as much as they could? Were they kind of like, what is this kind of YouTube social media realm?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I think I know like especially when I decided like throughout high school I was focusing more on that and didn't really want to go to college. I know they were very like, "Oh, come on, like you got to go to college, you got to do this." And even still like they love me and they care for me and that's why they want me to go to college because that's just what everyone does. So they're like, we don't know this social media. If you can do it, we want you to do it, but we're like nervous. So I feel like everyone's always not necessarily doubted me, but just like had concerns because they don't know how it is. So that gave me motivation for sure. So my dad and mom have always been like, oh, your videos are so cool. We love them. But they're also like, are you sure this is something that's good for you to do? Like, should you go to college? So there's all definitely been like a love hate type thing because it's a new age for sure. It's nothing they grew
Yeah,
up
I
with.
give kudos to your parents though, because that's really incredible that they were supportive, but also making sure they were that sounding board of like, hey, but
Hmm.
just think about this real quick. Just make sure
For
you're
sure.
you're debating about this. So I think that's really awesome of your parents. And through my students, I hear a lot of them that's like, oh, like I had this idea, but my parents didn't quash it, but they almost made me too nervous to do it. Where it sounds like
Right.
your parents were like, here's what we want you to hear, but don't let that stop.
100%. Yeah, I think they made in all aspects. They make me think. From my faith to anything I'm doing. It's like, here's why we do this, and you can end up making your own decision on that. But think about why. Don't just like fall down the rabbit path. Everyone does this, so
Yeah.
I do it. Why do we do that? So they always have helped me in that way to make sure that I'm, as a Christian, making the right decisions, or just going down where I feel God is calling me in that way.
Yeah. When did it surprise you that you started getting monetary things from doing your posts? Like, when did that start for you and was that surprising?
Yeah, there's two main things I remember. I want to say it was probably around that ninth grade, COVID into the 10th grade, because when I first started YouTube, I was about 9 or 10 years old, fifth grade. Always wanted to be a YouTuber, wanted to make money from it. Thought that was the craziest thing. So fifth grade to eighth grade, nothing happened. 300 follow subscribers or something. When I started reposting that fitness thing and it started doing well, I got some subscribers that summer. I think it was probably the summer of ninth grade. So maybe like a year later after working out, probably posted like 20, 30 workout videos. I remember hitting my first 1,000 subscribers and I was like, oh my goodness, I finally hit this goal. Like to me, I thought that was like the craziest thing. I always wanted 1,000 subscribers from fifth grade to eighth grade. So I don't know, that's 5 years. I dreamed about hitting 1,000 subscribers. And so when I finally hit that, I was like, this is so cool. Now then YouTube changed the rules. It's like, but you need 4,000 hours of people like watching your videos.
I know
So
what
I
you
was like,
mean.
okay, I have this as 1,000. How can I get this 4,000? I want to make money from this. So around that, I started doing live streams, posting lots of videos, whatever. And I
Okay.
finally remember it's called monetized and getting Google AdSense because YouTube's through Google. And so I remember finally officially actually getting signed up and being applied and hit the 4,000 hours in that. And probably like my 10th grade year. And I was freaking out. Like, of course, maybe I made $5, $10 in a month or something, nothing crazy,
Yeah.
but it was
That's still
just
money.
so exciting to know that like 6 7 years later, I think I finally actually started making my first dollar, and that was super cool. Senior year, when I hit my first 100,000 followers on YouTube and everything started blowing up, and then I was making a couple $100 a month, that's when I was like, whoa, like this really could actually be something, because that was when I'm graduating. What am I going to do? What's my future?
Yeah.
So those two things really sort of like showed, when I started to make money, hey, this is possible. Let's grow it even more. And those are some exciting moments for
That
sure.
is really awesome. And then was it hard when you started going then into Instagram? And I don't have a TikTok. Do you use
I
TikTok
have
at all?
TikTok, yeah,
How
yeah.
did that start to work, adding all of those extra social media accounts to your
Yeah, it
legacy
wasn't
life?
too hard because it was kind of like the same videos I'm posting on Instagram and YouTube. I can kind of post the same, but I would also sometimes customize different videos, Instagram, whatever. And I did make TikTok. My favorite thing is YouTube. It still is. It's actually now geared shift to Instagram because it's growing my business more. But I made Instagram and TikTok to help grow my YouTube. So after I would make a YouTube video, I cut it in clips and promote it to help do that. Instagram has grown because I can message people there. I can talk to my followers. I do like it there. There's a lot more communication than like YouTube, but I can just kind of comment with people and that's it. So the DMs and stuff like that with Instagram have been nice and helped me to get some good clients as well.
Awesome. And I never thought about Instagram and TikTok being kind of just like the beginnings to, hey, I want you to look at my YouTube video. Here's just like the little appetizer.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
awesome.
kind of how I was wanted to promote my YouTube to help grow. And I think it definitely did in that way, give different aspects of that for sure.
Yeah. And then so you're getting ready to graduate high school at this point. When did you decide that you were also going to try to be a fitness coach along with being the social media influencer?
Yeah, I think I always was like, wanted like I just want to do business and fitness and help people. Maybe I could be like a trainer or something, all throughout the high school. But that senior year, when I was realizing like so many people are reaching out for help, I was like, well, I could do, I can make money from the views and sponsorships, but I also turn it into like something that is business worthy as well, that I can build beyond the views and stuff. So I started doing some coaching and stuff there. So I think it's been, I graduated 3 years ago now, so it was right around that like senior year, mid senior year. I remember really focusing on trying to build a coaching business, get my first clients that towards the end of the year into that summer. So it's been about 3 years now. I graduated in 23 and it's summer of 26. So 3 years, probably close to exactly that I actually have went, we'll say full time coaching. And I think it's been the coolest thing just seeing how many people has transformed their lives in those 3 years. And it's grown me and stuff as well. And the business and how I've become a better person, that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you learn as much from people as they learn from you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Something I thought was interesting was, did you get to go to a movie premiere because of one of the people that you coach?
Yeah, so that was very interesting as well. And this is why I love the fitness and the connections. I was just in New York for doing some work, meeting with clients. And while I was working out at it was an outdoor park, I ended up meeting one of the actors that came down from a different country to be, because New York's all about, movie, this and that.
Darn
And
right.
so we ended up working to get like talking, building a connection. I'm like, hey, what if I train you? He's like, yeah, I'm trying to get a good pump for the premiere. And he's like, you want to come? And I was like, yes, we canceled the flight, extended an extra day just so we could be a part of it because, it's a once in a lifetime
Of course.
opportunity. And then they put me in as like the influencer and the trainer guy. And so I was like on the red carpet. And so it was just cool. It wasn't like a massive production, but it
Yeah.
was a very good movie and a very cool opportunity that, once in a lifetime for sure.
That's really cool. What's it like when you go out and about and do some of your videos? I know you've done calisthenics in like Las
Yeah.
Vegas in the middle of Times Square. Do you ever think about like, wow, all these people are looking at me, or are you just doing the thing and then watching the videos afterwards and being like, all right, cool. This is what some of the people were thinking about.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I think in the beginning, you're thinking a lot like, oh, who's watching me? Even still, like if I'm doing handstands, there's a lot of people. It's like, all right, who's watching me in the gym, or what are they thinking?
Sure.
But it's gotten to the point where I've done it so much, I just enjoy it. I love it. I know it. I do it to inspire people. Like I remember when I saw the human flag for the first time, I was like,
Mhm.
I want to learn that, and that's what started my calisthenics journey. So who knows? Like it just gives someone either entertainment or could inspire someone to be like, Dude, that's so
Exactly.
cool that it's even possible. Like handstand on the edge of like the water. Like I never think I could do that, but my mind loves to do crazy things. So maybe I inspire someone else to do something. So it's just yeah, it's just fun. It's good for entertaining online and in person, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And then tell me about how you came up with some of your other fun videos. I've seen you do ones where you're arm wrestling people in an ice bath or like breaking different
Yeah.
items and seeing how many you can do. The milk jug pull ups. Like, where do you get some of these ideas? And are they just as much fun to do as they look like?
100%. That's the biggest thing that's helped grow my account is when I'm just being authentically me. The ice baths, I'm a crazy person, and not in like a not in that way, but like I just love full energy doing things that most people aren't. So getting in an ice bath sounds crazy, and everyone's like, "Why would you do that?" But I know it's fun, entertaining, and so the goal is, when you want to grab someone's attention, it's you think about, okay, I'm a fitness influencer. I want to grab people's attention. I want to do a challenge. So your mind starts thinking, what's viral? Where ice baths were viral. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
like, all right, if ice baths are going viral. It's the middle of winter. Why don't I do a challenge where I see if I can do it for 30 days in the middle of winter, chopping the ice? And so it just made like a perfect challenge. So that's kind of how my mind's constantly thinking and that's sometimes the struggle with social media is there's no stop. So how can I make a new challenge? How can I make a new trend, series, whatever? That's currently what I'm doing is what is the next series that I can do that's going to trend, that people are going to enjoy, entertain, and is going to help continue to grow my following. So it is fun. I love doing them, but it's always a constant thinking and filming and editing and that type of thing.
Exactly, yeah. What would you say for my listeners that maybe are starting on their fitness journey or just really aren't seeing the gains or the progression they're wanting? What is the number one thing that you think people either aren't doing correctly or what you would say they should be changing?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing comes down to is our consistency. If you're consistently trying to get better with your diet, trying to move your body every day, pushing yourself in the gym and have either studying or getting a coach and working like working with me. I've been able to like put people in the right ways of like here's what to do. Now let's consistently do that instead of just going to the gym, not sure what you're doing, not really eating right, not sleeping well, not moving around, and you do it 2-3 times a week, whatever. But if you're like, I'm going to do 2-3 times a week, I know exactly what I'm doing, how much I'm eating, and you consistently do that, you will see progress over time. And that's why it's like not one workout gets you stronger, but it's the combination of the consistently putting in the workouts helps you see progress.
Yeah, definitely. I've been working with a personal trainer now for about 4 months now, and I've just been really surprised about how quickly things have changed for me in a really great
That's
way.
awesome. Yeah, it definitely just having that someone who knows what they're doing can give you that motivation push and you trust them like they know what they're doing. Here's the plan. I'm gonna stick to it for 3 months consistently. You will see results for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Changing gears a little bit, I know your faith is also very important to you. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Sweet. Tell me about, so we'll just kind of go back a little bit. What was like your faith like growing up, and what has that led to you like today?
Yeah, I think the faith has been one of the biggest parts of my life. Growing up, my family and friends were very strong Christians, so I just grew up into that. But like I said with my parents in the beginning, they weren't like you have to be a Christian. It was
Hmm.
here's here's the Bible, here's Christ, is this something you truly believe, whatever. And so just living, being a part of it and seeing God's word come true and seeing him work in my life has always been something like I want to live for the Lord. I want to have my faith first because I see how important it is, and I have that belief and faith in him. And so through that I've just constantly been always surrounding myself or being brought up in a Christ-like way. Reading my word is daily, trying to be in Bible studies, be in church, and just really growing because that's helped me with my life of every single direction I've been through what I do in the fitness, how I train my clients. Every decision I make is this something that's honoring God? Is this something that's going to be glorifying to Him? And so it's kind of shaped my whole thought, thinking, life, that type of thing for sure.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that gives you quite a bit of clarity.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I've gained there's so many times in growing up in high school where I skipped out on all these parties and dating people and that type of thing. And not because I didn't necessarily desire it, but because God, through reading his word, I had gained so much wisdom that I understood that these are, instant gratifications that don't actually please me and that only going to ruin my life in the future. And so I can just look back and be so thankful that God led me into staying away from these things or going to certain things, being in certain places that I wouldn't have been without him, because it's shaped my mindset. It's helped me grow to be a better person. And I've seen that, not to like be like I'm better than anyone, but I've seen like throughout high school the people who were doing their own things and had no faith versus what I was doing, trying to set boundaries and be strong. It's such a big change and difference for sure. And I'm blessed for that.
Well, and it sounds like a very mature way of thinking, which only showcases how you've been doing so well as a professional these last few years at such a young age. So, really, kudos to you on that mindset, and
Thank you.
that I hope
Yeah,
it continues to make you go very far.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Kind of looking more towards the future, do you have some really cool goals that you wanted to do with your business, with yourself? I saw recently you got to be a part of a run for the 4th of July. That looked really
Yes. Yes.
awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah, I think there's always, and that's one of the biggest things, that goals, setting goals, having goals, if it's your fitness journey, for me, my business, my fitness, my life, whatever, that's how you stay motivated. That's how you stay disciplined and driven to get it done. Like when clients don't have goals, they never see progress. But when we say we want to hit this food, we want to hit this weight, we want to get this much stronger, we want to look like this. So for me, and I always wanted to have this certain physique. I want to always be able to do handstands. So I had these goals, and that's why I'm driven into fitness. For my business, I want to make sure this is something I can do because I love it so much. So I want to make sure I can help clients. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to grow the social media and have, be able to one day move out and have nice things and support my family and do that through what I'm doing. So all these goals get me up every day to keep driving, discipline, that type of thing.
That's awesome. So, as we're kind of coming to a close with this episode, Carson, I have one question I ask all of my guests, but before I do that, I do a little synopsis of what we've talked about. So, from growing up in Pennsylvania in an amazing family, doing a lot of sports, growing your YouTube channel to what it is today with your social media, your personal training, your faith driving you, if there is one theme that you hope my listeners get out of your life story, what would you want that theme to be?
That's a great question. I do really like that because there's a lot of things in my life that I've, looking back at 21, I feel like a lot has happened, but I also do know that's still young. But with working with clients in their 80s and having younger cousins, knowing that I've been able to help the younger people, but also someone in their 80s transform their life, I think the main thing that I've seen is, and even for me as a young person who's built into where I'm at, is when I set a goal, like we were talking about, something that I know and love, and I just work super hard at that, and I just focus on that, not letting the worldly or other crazy distractions, then you'll achieve that goal. Like when I wanted to be a YouTuber or when I wanted to be have the physique I wanted or grow the business, I set that goal. I knew that was what I wanted to do, and I just put in the hard work to do that. And I think that's for anything. Find what you love and work hard on it, and it will continue to pay off. And that's kind of the biggest thing I see, no matter if it's your fitness goal or a business goal or life goal. If you know this is something you love and you're going to be consistent at it, it will happen. It'll pay off.
Our passions are what drive us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Carson, thank you so very much for coming on today. It was a real pleasure to finally get to meet you in person and to just hear
Yeah,
more
you
about your
too.
life.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And with that, that is another episode of Life Story. If you enjoyed it, please give a like and subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, I'm Tyler Honig. Make it a great day.